Welcome back. In this video, I will be telling you about multi-threading. Okay, so this is multi-threading, but you must be asking, ma'am, how we are coming back to multi-threading? Why do we need this? How is this topic a part of our Java? So, do you remember in the features of Java, I was telling you that Java's one of the most important feature is that it supports multitasking. Okay, I told you there. So, this multitasking is possible due to this multi-threading only. How? I will give you with a very easy example in a real world. Okay, so let's say this is my computer only, and in my computer or my system I am using three processes. Okay, or rather I would say three apps I am using for very easy language. The first app is I am using is my whiteboard. Okay, this is my Microsoft whiteboard that I'm on writing. Then I can say I am using secondly, let's say Wink music app. And then on the third I am using, let's say, my Eclipse IDE. Okay, so I am using my Eclipse IDE for coding. So I am doing three works simultaneously. Now in my computer, if I am doing three works simultaneously, don't you think that one day my computer would hang? Because how is it able to do three works simultaneously, that I am working on my whiteboard also, and at the back of the whiteboard my Eclipse IDE is running one Java program, and simultaneously I'm able to listen my music also, whatever the music is being played on Wink. So these three things are done simultaneously with the help of multi-threading. Okay, I'm writing this concept again here. It's multi-threading. This is all possible due to multi-threading. How? Thread, we can say this thread. This is a thread. A thread is a process that is being executed by our CPU. Okay, you can say, as of in a very simple easy language and for the very basic beginner concept, you can say that thread is a process that is been a small process. Thread is a small process which has been executed by my CPU. So this whiteboard is a thread, this Wink app is a thread, Eclipse IDE is a thread. What CPU does, that one by one it executes all the threads. Like it executed one part of the thread of whiteboard, then it switched to Wink music player, and then it switched to Eclipse IDE. So it is executing one thread at a time, but the switch is so fast that we are not able to recognize that, oh, my Wink app was being switched and then I am on Eclipse IDE, and no, now my thread switched back to whiteboard. So the switch between these threads, the switch between the CPU to run these threads is so fast that we cannot recognize that there was a switch between these apps. So this is multi-threading, that CPU is executing one thread at a time, but to me it seems like all three apps are running simultaneously. That's the beauty of the CPU speed. Okay, so this is basic about the thread, and we will see how threads can be implemented in a Java program by using a very practical example. So let's see a practical example. What I will do here, we will create a class name as simple multi-thread. As the name suggests, I have used very easy mnemonics. So we are using multi-thread as a class, but to implement this threading concept, what I have to do, I have to make sure that there is a class name as, we can implement this by implementing this class or by using inheritance, and I have to use inheritance, and this thread being an inbuilt class in Java, it will help me to make or to do multi-threading. This multi-threading can be only done if I extend I will extend this thread class. Okay, so I have to extend. There is no such option out there. After this, I will just extend this class, and I have made a function void run. In this, I have just simply printed thread is running. Okay, now how to create a thread? There is no such thing as thread. You just have to create an object. Okay, you have to create a simple object like we used to create, like multi-thread is the name of the class, T is the name of the object, a new multi-thread. Okay, so this is an object that is of a thread being created, and here, since I have extended all the properties, I'm inheriting all the properties of this thread class. So this thread class has a function name as start. So it will start the thread, and this void run method will be executed. This is a thread method. This is the method of what? Of, you can say, of the father class. Okay, and then void run, it will execute my thread. Let's see whether is this working or not. So I will just simply compile this program, and as soon as I will compile, you can see thread is running. You got the message, that is, as soon as I create the thread and as I put s.start, so this method, it was the part of this father class, and this father class made me to run my void run thread. Okay, if you want, I can put you show some the documentation of this thread class, and you can see we have here void start method. So let's just right click and see the documentation. Let's open the documentation. Here is the documentation of this class, and let's run and directly go to void start. Okay, so let me just see where is the start method, and then I will show you how is it working. Okay, so where we have this start we have to dig up more in the documentation and see. Yes, you can see here is a start method. This start methods has the ability to make our to invoke the thread. Okay, so it helps us to invoke the thread, and that's how we start simply our thread. You can see this is an inbuilt method of a thread class. You can see here it's void start, and here also what I have written here only start. So this is exactly same as start. So now you must be having a question that, ma'am, here I have written t.start, and how this run came out into working out. So you can see here if a thread was constructed, okay, you can see here it is that there was a in subclass, we can see, and let me go back to the documentation again and show you. In this, after where is the void run? Okay, after void start we have a function name as void run. Okay, so here is void run. Where is it? Here is it, void run. Okay, so void run, this is also a part of the void run, you can see, of the thread class, and here also I have created void run. So what happens, this overrides, this void run overrides the functions of the parent class, because this void run was part of the thread class, that was the parent class. So you can see it is a subclass of the thread that should be override in this method, and we have done overriding. As in the overriding, I have taught you already. In overriding, what happens if the child class is having that function, then the child class gets the priority, and the functions of the thread class gets executed rather than the functions of the parent class, and that happens same. And we see that in this thread class was also having a run method, but the child class we created this run method, so child class run method started running and the parent class didn't run. That's it about basic threading. But now we have another way, that is, if you don't want to use, or don't want to just simply use inheritance, then you can use an interface that is done by implements runnable. So this is runnable is an interface, you can see. Okay, so in this runnable interface, what we do, we implement it, we extend the classes and we implement the interface. So here that is why it is written implements runnable. After that, what I did, I just again put the void run, and in this I write that thread is running. And here it was simply multi.thread. I created the first thread of my own class, and then again after creating this thread, what I did, I put this thread into the constructor of the thread class. What my thread was being created, I just put that into the thread class, so that thread class again I will put t.start and it will start working. So instead of extends thread, if you don't want to write extend thread class, you have to do implements runnable. But at the end of the day, whenever you have to create your own thread, you have to go to the thread class, and this thread class you have to create the same thing again. You have to repeat the same picture again, that thread t is equal to new thread, and you have to put it inside it. And when you were extending the thread class, you didn't have to create this part because you were extending the class. But here we are not extending this, that's why I have to again make a new thread and have to link it with the class of thread by using runnable interface. So that's pretty easy, and let's run this again and see is it running or not. So I will just right click, and here you can see it is running. Let me show you the interface also, how this interface look. Here is the interface. You can see this is how this interface is working, and you can read your documentation whenever you feel like, and you can see the documentation. I can show you here also. Here is the entire documentation it is having, and for furthermore classes and all, you want to see which class is this and how is it, so here is it. You can see it's void run, and again in the void run you have to go, and again it was just the void run method that you created again, and you put in that void run, you just put your own messages that were very simple and easy. So that's it all about threading. You can try your making own threads again.